Thailand and Cambodia are not at war. They are not enemies. They are not heading towards military conflict. But in 2026, they are not playing the same game. One country keeps stumbling, yet and never collapses. The other keeps growing, yet never truly chooses its own direction. And this is exactly a kind of situation Qimen was designed to analyze. No drama here. I'm not here making any prediction, but who has the room to move when the environment shifts? Now, once again, if you're watching this video, understand that everything I'm sharing here is just my personal interpretation based on the 2026 Qimen annual chart on the global framework. Never see that as a prediction. I'm not here forecasting any conflict. And of course, I'm not guaranteeing any form of outcomes. And I do hope whatever I'm saying here will be wrong. That's because Qimen doesn't predict events. It studies the behavior under pressure based on how similar patterns play out historically. So stay chill, not to panic. I hope that you use the video discussion to think better. Well, let me ask you these two serious questions. Why does Thailand remain a regional pivot despite repeated political instability and past border tensions? And the other question is, why does Cambodia experience steady growth, yet struggle to act independently on the regional stage? Well, you see, these are not emotional questions. I make these structural ones for you to consider. Now, before I start, I would just like to thank some of the readers, viewers on my channel who suggested me coming up with the video on this topic between Cambodia and Thailand. So thank you. Because of you, I'm doing this video. And most importantly, if you haven't done so, click subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell so that you know whenever I'm uploading a video, you'll be notified. And share with your friends of this video, especially they are interested in Cambodia versus Thailand. Alright, so now back to what I'm going to say. Let's look the reality here first. Now, Thailand, Cambodia. So Thailand, Cambodia have historical border disputes, especially around the Phra Vihear. They experienced armed clashes mainly between 2008 and 2011. They have tensions significantly reduced after the 2013 ICJ ruling. And since then, there was no sustained armed conflict. There was open diplomatic channels. There's continued trade and tourism, daily cross-border labor movement, and ASEAN actively discouraging escalation. So I would say that 2026 is not a conflict year. What I would call this as is a year of managed tension, where differences exist but are deliberately contained. And this matters to us as Qimen practitioners because Qimen analysis change completely when the environment is open but pressurized, not hostile. Okay, so now let's look at why Southeast Asia matters. Now, Southeast Asia in 2026 sits at the crossroads of global pressure. So let's look at some facts. US-China rivalry intensifies, as you know. Companies diversify supply chain away from China. ASEAN attracts manufacturing relocation. Tourism rebounds with different demographics. Infrastructure financing increases, and small states gain disproportionate visibility. So what does it mean in Qimen terms? This is what we call an open door regional environment. But I've got to make it very clear on one thing. An open door does not benefit everyone equally, as it only benefits those with structure, flexibility, and choice. And this is where Thailand and Cambodia diverge. Now, let's look at the Qimen profile of Thailand first in 2026. It's not about brilliance. It's about survivability through options. So on that note, let me make it clear, I'm looking at the southeast palace of the Qimen annual chart for both Thailand and Cambodia, as my hypothesis has always been using China in the east palace. So logically, Southeast Asia will be southeast. Okay, I just want to make this clear. Now, let's go back to Thailand. So the fact is this. Thailand has experienced numerous coups since 1932, based on my research of history. Yet, it has avoided civil war, preserved bureaucratic continuity, maintained investor confidence, and kept economic activity moving. So Thailand separates political turbulence from economic continuity, if you allow me to say that. And in Qimen terms, this is what we call the pressure absorption, not resistance. Let's look at the economic diversification here. And this allows Thailand to bend but not break. You see, tourism contributes roughly 1/5 or 20% of the GDP of the country. Strong manufacturing base in autos, electronics, and food. Agriculture remains productive, and services and medical tourism continue to expand. During the 1997 Asian financial crisis, 2008 global financial crisis, and even the COVID tourism collapse, Thailand adjusted without systematic collapse. Well, call it luck. Well, how about I call it structural design? And then let's look at the multi-vector diplomacy which preserves maneuverability. As Thailand maintains working relationship with China, the US, Japan, ASEAN as a whole, Europe. So for example, Thailand hosted the US-led corporate gold exercises, deepening the trade with China and maintaining ASEAN centrality, which creates strategic ambiguity, and Qimen treat this as actually an advantage. How about productivity? Productivity actually stabilizes society under pressure. So Thailand's broad employment base are as follows: tourism, manufacturing, agriculture, and informal economy. They keep social pressure contained. You see, when people are economically engaged, instability loses momentum. And Thailand promotes tourism, healthcare, wellness, and culture. And this is not ideology, it's not power projection. In period 9, this preserves assets without triggering fear. Okay, so that's Thailand. Now let's move our lens to Cambodia and look at the growth with structural constraint. Now, first of all, let me be very clear. Cambodia's Qimen profile is not negative, because in our school of thoughts, there's no such thing called good or bad. Okay, no positive, no negative. So I'm not going to label Cambodia as negative. All I'm saying is that it is narrow. Narrow means what? Growth will still exist, but agency is limited. Let's look at some facts here about the growth. The growth is real growth, but it is externally driven. So for example, China is Cambodia's largest investor. The major infrastructure projects funded externally. In manufacturing, relocation from China and Vietnam, and tourism heavily depending on foreign inflows. So you see, Cambodia benefits from openness, but doesn't initiate most of these flows. And therefore, what we call this is dependent growth. Now, the next thing we look at is the alignment that reduces the diplomatic flexibility. Now, let's see. Cambodia's strong alignment brings protection, ensures funding, stabilizes short-term growth, but it also narrows policy options. It weakens the bargaining power and reduces credibility as a neutral ASEAN actor. And that has been visible in ASEAN's consensus issues, including the South China Sea. Now, how about productivity? What I'm saying is that productivity for the country is narrow and it's hard to upgrade. Because you see, Cambodia's economic base are garments, low-value manufacturing, tourism, labor, and construction. And unlike Thailand, Cambodia lacks the following: deep industrial ecosystems, strong domestic capital markets, and broad technology transfer. So from a Qimen perspective, what we are saying is the output without upgrade eventually becomes a liability. Okay, so another thing is the limited institutional shock absorption. The fact is, Cambodia's institutions are younger relatively, the policy flexibility is narrower, and stability depends on continued external support. And this forces Cambodia to avoid volatility at almost any cost. So this is not from strategy, it is from necessity. Now, visibility will increase Cambodia's exposure, but is that a leverage? As Cambodia becomes more and more visible in 2026, alignment choices becomes clearer, no doubt. Neutrality thins and policy space narrows. Okay, so let's look at the Qimen comparison between both countries, and this is really a clean contrast. On one hand, Thailand, with multiple options, absorbs pressure, maintains ambiguity, and pivots when needed. On the other hand, Cambodia, limited options, avoid pressure, aligns clearly, and maintains stability. Now, once again, there's no conflict, no hostility. It's just unequal room to move. Okay? So, what's the Thailand-Cambodia divide really signals in 2026? Now, this comparison is not about two countries. It's about how ASEAN functions under pressure in period 9. Okay? Number one, ASEAN's real risk is uneven agency, not war. There's no imminent military threat fracturing ASEAN. The fault line is quieter. Some members can pivot, others must hold alignments. And that creates silent hierarchy, unequal negotiating power, and uneven exposure to global pressure. Until unity remains and agency doesn't. Number two, pivot states shape outcomes without asking for permission. Countries with options will move first. They reposition the supply chain, they adjust diplomacy, they host capital and absorb shocks. Others will just be followers. And as I've talked about before, Thailand exemplifies this dynamic in 2026. Number three, patron aligned states lose leverage over time. Now, alignment brings stability and it also brings dependency. So over time, bargaining power weakens, neutrality erodes, and choices narrow. And Cambodia's challenge is not about growth, it is her negotiating power. Number four, ASEAN consensus slows, not breaks. It will not fracture in 2026, and I hope not, okay? But consensus will take longer. Avoids sharp language and defaults to lowest risk positions, because not all members can afford symbolic confrontation. Okay? Number five, economic gravity reshapes informal leadership. ASEAN leadership is no longer about size or history, but about who can absorb volatility, who can host capital, who can remain open without being exposed. So you see from the discussion above, Thailand fits this profile, but Cambodia doesn't. Number six, businesses must separate growth markets from decision markets. So which is which now? 2026, Cambodia is a growth market, and Thailand is a decision market. Confusing the two will lead to strategic mistakes. Number seven, Thailand follows agency, not GDP growth. What it means is that regional talent will move where the rules are flexible, failure is survivable, and repositioning is possible. You see, and you can tell, Thailand attracts leadership, and Cambodia retains labor. Number eight, ASEAN stability depends on retaining pivot states. So ASEAN remains resilient only if enough members can pivot independently, have pressure that is being distributed, and no single patron dominates. And again, Thailand absorbs and redirects pressure, whereas Cambodia transmits it. So what's the takeaway here then? Well, let me summarize in the following. Peace doesn't equal strength, and growth doesn't equal agency. Alignment is not influence. Visibility without leverage is risk. Pivot states shape outcomes, and patron states endure outcomes. So who is who now? Well, Thailand shapes the space, whereas Cambodia occupies the space. So let me wrap up this video with this line. Qimen doesn't ask who is stronger. Okay, that's a wrong question to ask. Okay, in case you wonder, it asks who can still move when conditions change. So from Qimen analysis alone, in 2026, I can see Thailand can reposition herself, and Cambodia must maintain alignment. And that difference explains everything. Okay, so I hope that this video discussion is interesting and it's helpful to you, especially for those who are from Thailand and Cambodia, who understand English, of course. If you want more discussion, more in-depth discussion about this topic, come join my Destiny Architect Telegram chat. Once again, there's no superstition, there's no fear-mongering. I'm here just to provide you with the clarity when we can have a deeper conversation. Okay, so once again, final disclaimer before I wrap up. Whatever I'm saying above is purely my own personal interpretation. Okay, and there's no way I'm predicting there's guaranteed no conflict between two countries. And I hope that I'm wrong. Okay, and it guarantees no outcome, of course. And it offers only one thing called pattern intelligence. And of course, nothing is certain. I don't have the crystal ball, by the way. Okay, so thanks for watching this video, and I'm glad that you come all the way to the end. And once again, before I wrap up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and click the notification bell, as you know you'll be notified of any video that I'm uploading in future. And share this with your friends, knowing that sharing is caring, and caring means a lot. Okay, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.